Okay, it's day 12, and we've got kind of a treat today. So, if you remember early on, I tried to reach out to brand ambassadors and local brand reps and people working at distilleries to try to get some feedback on their thoughts on these whiskeys, and I had almost nobody reply. I don't think people know what to do with YouTube. But today's whiskey, they did. Today's whiskey is Highland Park, and I got the old 12. I could also go get the 12 Viking Honor, but this one, I just had it in my office. I brought it down, and I'm gonna pour it right now. And we actually got a reply from Martin, and I'm gonna totally mispronounce his last name, Mark Vardson. Mark Vardson. Now, he's a global brand ambassador for Highland Park, and I'm gonna read you his answers to my two questions here shortly. But first, Highland Park. See, that Highland Park 12 is all of that beautiful fall sherry cask musty vegetation, but with sweet bread and plum. But it's so earthy. I mean, it really is. It's not funky earthy. It's just rich, fresh, overturned mulch mixed with all the sweet, beautiful candied notes. Oh, and it's all that beautiful. Okay, so here's the thing about Highland Park, and I think I know the band I'm going to compare it to, even though I don't know sonically it's the right comparison, but in my life experience it's the right comparison. And so Highland Park is, every time I try it, I think, son of a bitch, this is a standard. This is as classic as any scotch I keep for classic scotch. I'll obsess over Highland Park for short windows of time where I just drink it constantly. And then I'll get distracted and I'll move on to other things. And then, months later, someone will pour it or I'll see it at a bar and I'll go, crap, I forgot Highland Park. It's such a great whiskey. How did I forget that? And I'll go back, I'll obsess over it again. And I do these little bursts of obsession. There is this band that does that to me, and it's the Wallflowers. So the Wallflowers, their first album, and their first big label album, called Bringing Down the Horse, came out when I was in high school, my senior year of high school. And I just loved it and listened to it nonstop for a whole chunk of time. And then I sort of moved on and kind of forgot about the Wallflowers. And a little while later, about a year or two, I was somewhere and I heard on the radio a song and I thought, holy shit, that's the Wallflowers. I didn't know and I looked it up. They had a new album. I had no idea. And instantly I was back in on the Wallflowers and I'm obsessed with the new album. And then the problem is somehow Wallflowers is really bad at marketing new albums because inevitably I'll forget about Wallflowers and then I'll stumble into something and realize, crap, they released another album and I totally missed it. And how did that happen? And then I'm back into it again. And so I do these surges of falling in love. But I also think that, tonality-wise, I get it with the Wallflowers as this beautiful mid-tonality, rich keys and rich, deep guitar notes even. And then the bass is low groovy, but not overly thumpy and not dominating. And Dylan's voice, Jakob Dylan's voice, has got all that musical tonality, but still has the slight grit. And I think it could totally work for Highland Park. The perfect amount of like a little pepper spice, but still heavy melody. A lot of mid-range. There's low notes in there, but they're not overly thumpy. They're not dominating. I'm telling you. All right, so let's read Martin's responses. So the first question I asked him was, what's your favorite expression of this brand? And he couldn't pick one. He said, my favorite varies between 4 for different reasons. I totally understand that. Our 12-year-old Viking Honor is so much DNA of Highland Park. It's probably my favorite everyday drinker. Of course, that makes sense. For moments when I sit and relax watching a good soccer game or a movie, I'll go for the 18-year-old Viking Pride. All right, so stepping it up a little bit and a little more complexity and balance, he says, is what comes to mind. And he says, I enjoy the 21-year-old for occasions when I'm with great friends because it's so amazing. Powerful character. And last but not least, the 25-year-old is for him the best dram in the world. And every time he says it surprises him. It's incredible. The second question I asked him was, what's your favorite place to drink whiskey when you're not working for Highland Park? And he said, Highland Park in a bar in Orkney with friends. That's the best place. Next to that, it's nature, outdoor, summer, winter. Best place on earth, he thinks, period. The cliffs of Yeznabi? In Orkney, and a stunning dram of 12 or 18-year-old Highland Park. That combination, God, man, I can totally picture that. I love it. Martin, thank you so much for taking the time to actually answer these. If you guys want to see Martin, he does shoot videos where he talks about the whiskey. You can find them on YouTube, and they're great. I actually really enjoy watching his stuff. But man, good choice on Highland Park. This was such a diversion from bourbon and peated whiskey. I once again forgot how much home Highland Park can feel. Love it. All right, until tomorrow. May your crazy stay this side of legal, and may you return before we have time to miss you. Cheers.